Morning all, hope you're all well. I'm having a bit of a rant this morning. It's Sunday. I just watched the Formula 1. Something I've been doing since the early 1980s. When I was a baby in arms, maybe, a little bit older than that. I can remember the times of Gilles Villeneuve, Didier Pironi, Nelson Piquet, a young up-and-coming brummie named Nigel Mansell, ground effect cars, the Ford Cosworth TSV. Later on, the switches to turbos. Prost in the Renault. Later on, the Honda came in. But today's Grand Prix of Formula 1 racing, it's crap. It really is poor. I don't care how much Crofty screams and shouts, "Oh, an amazing overtake!" Why did that car overtake? Pure and simple. Run out of battery power. This whole push to green energy and trying to make Formula 1 more environmentally friendly is killing the sport. It really is. We've had DRS, which led to false overtakes because one car dumped all its downforce, so gained extra 10, 12, 14 miles per hour to overtake. Now every car can do that, so why did we need DRS? We didn't. The cars could simply just slipstream each other. If they're all dumping aerodynamics, dropping the wings at the same time, and they can overtake, well, we never needed it, did we? Then this whole battery pack. The battery packs, yes, great, brilliant. So we've had an accident today for Oli Bearmans, a very serious accident, caused basically because the car in front of him, Colapinto, ran out of battery power. And according to Sky Sports, the commentary at the time said he lost Bearmans caught up Colapinto 45 kilometres an hour quicker and ran out of space. 45 kilometres an hour is roughly 26 miles per hour. That's a hell of a closing speed. Now, if Suzuka caused a 50G impact for Bearmans, what would happen somewhere like Monaco? Seriously. Imagine this happened at Monaco from Anthony Noakes, is it the last corner, down to Sandoval. Hardly any runoff area, and if a car went airborne, there's nothing behind, there's buildings behind the walls. Then you could go from Sandoval up to Casino Square. If the same thing happened there, it's not going to be an accident, it's going to be plain disaster. And even worse, what about the run through the tunnel? What if it's happened there? They come out onto the seafront, take that right hand turn, floor it, and the car in front runs out of battery power in the tunnel. Tight right hand corner, nowhere to go, and you're in a tunnel. Don't bear thinking about it, does it? Formula 1 is now no longer about racing, it's about management. If you're wanting management, the only place for management should be endurance racing, WEC, or as it was years ago, Group C, the World Sports Prototype Championship. That was the place for management, fuel management, not tyres, not power, fuel management, economy. We go back to 1988 when Jaguar won Le Mans. It was all about management. The cars were massive engines. You could have naturally aspirated, turbocharged V8s, V12s, and it was bloody good racing. But now Formula 1, it's about tyre management, fuel management, battery deployment. It's boring, it's crap, it's false overtaking, and all the commentators had made to G it up to make it look great. It's not, because if a car can overtake through 180R into the chicane and then get repassed because they've run out of 300 brake horsepower, let's put that into context, that's the same power as an Escort Cosworth. I know it's a high performance car from the early 90s, mid 90s, but it's a desired car. It's fetching mega bucks on the second hand market. They're losing the same power as an Escort Cosworth. 280, 300 brake horsepower. No wonder overtaking's easy when you've got no power. The cars seem to have to change down one gear from top gear. I think is 8th gear at the moment, 7th, because the lost that much power. It's like putting the handbrake on. It's dangerous. And if this happens at Monaco, it's going to be a disaster. It's going to be an accident to end all accidents. Formula 1 needs to go back to just straightforward engines. Motorsport should be an attack of the senses. The sight of the car should look fast, stood still. By all means, bring in dimension restrictions on the wings, the amount of planes in the wing, 1 on the front, 2 on the back. That'd be good. Dimensions on width and wheelbase. Fair dues. What about restrictions on the amount of fuel? Yeah. In my view, you should be able to either fill it up and have enough fuel for a complete Grand Prix distance, or just allow refuelling. Let them have massive tanks. Tyres. These Pirelli tyres are a joke as well. You have to use 2 different compounds. How about we have 2 compounds? One that would do the complete race distance if they're looked after by somebody like George Russell, who's a bit of a tyre whisperer. Or a compound that would last 2/3 of the race if pushed hard, but then you'd have to pit, and then you'd have to absolutely floor it to play catch up to the people on the slightly harder compound. A bit like when we had Goodyear in Formula 1. But let's face it, Formula 1's going downhill quickly. It is no longer motor racing. It's a form of entertainment. I never thought I'd say the day where I wish Bernie Ecclestone was back in charge, because I didn't think much of him when he was in charge of Formula 1 in the 80s and the 90s. But my God, it's become a joke now. It is farce. The F1 Formula now is farce, and it's the top of the farce leagues. Let's face it, it's now more about the teams. Yes, the drivers are there. Yes, the drivers have a following, but there's nothing like the aura that the drivers like Mansell, Senna, Prost, even the up-and-comers. I mean, go back to the early 90s, Nannini. He was a driver who was looking likely to join Ferrari. He could have had a very good career. Unfortunately, had that helicopter accident. We need to look backwards to go forwards, or else I can honestly see Formula 1 just dying. It's too expensive for fans, the average man on the street, to go to a race. In fact, Silverstone is now more expensive to go. It's more expensive for a single day at Silverstone, the single day at Spa. And let's face it, if I went to Spa, I could make a complete holiday from it. I could go and have a week in Belgium. I could leave on the Wednesday, come back on the Thursday, and have a good time away in a foreign country. Not driving to Silverstone, camping for 3 days and coming back early Sunday, so I can go to work Monday. Yeah, this is a rant, and I miss it. Let's remember the days when racing was racing. Senna, Prost, Mansell, Patrese. We need to go back to naturally aspirated engines that could attack your hearing, the senses of your hearing. We need to go back to smells of high performance fuel, not eco fuels and battery power. And we need to make cars with just dimensions, and then it's down to the designers to best build the best car that they can build. And that way, people can get advantages, or people can close up. It's not about regulation to make the racing closer. Once one team's ahead, it's up to the other teams to play catch up and overtake and get their own advantage. This is now artificial racing, and it sucks. As somebody who grew up watching racing in the 80s, enjoyed the early 90s, eventually saw my hero Nigel Mansell become world champion, right through to the end, through the Schumacher era. I mean, let's look at This year's cars, if you painted all of them black, you won't be able to tell one from another. But if you painted the cars from 1992 black, you'd be able to tell the Jordan from the Williams, from the Ferrari, from the McLaren. That ain't good. The cars look the same other than paint. I know they're different underneath, but that's the only place where a team can find an advantage and setups. I'm really, and I know a lot of old school fans of Formula 1 are losing faith in this sport. Even the British touring cars aren't quite as good as they used to be when we had the era of super touring. Vauxhall versus Peugeot versus Ford, all backed by the manufacturers. I know it got expensive. But how about this Formula 1? Let's go back to multiple cylinders. Allow teams to have V8s, V10s, V12s, whatever they wanted. And let them develop those engines. If you need to put in sustainable fuel, then so be it, to please the eco mob. But you know what? When everything's the same, when everybody's working to the same regulations, and there's very little loopholes to get into, then it gets very boring very quickly. I've followed Formula 1 since I was 3 years old. And right now, I'm watching a race and I'm watching... It's crap. It really is crap. I don't care how much Crofty screams about, oh, there's an overtake. Yeah, when a car loses 300 brake horsepower, of course there's going to be an overtake. Bearmans' accident today has been a wake-up call for you. Because I say something, if a car runs out of that much juice in the tunnel at Monaco, I don't want to think about what could happen. I don't want to think about what the outcome could be. Same to run the run up to Sandoval. I mean, we had Max Verstappen have a massive accident there when he was driving for, if I remember right, when it was Toro Rosso. Not worth thinking about. It does not want it to be thought about, because it'll be massive and you won't be good. It will not be good at all. That's my thoughts. Formula 1 is dying, and it's being taken away from the fans. The fans really don't. They're not wanted at races. It's more about the what they're calling football, the prawn cocktail and cucumber sandwich brigade. It's people like me. It's the people who want to spend a reasonable amount of money to get into Silverstone or get into Spa. But we're not wanted. It's starting to feel like we're not wanted. That's why there's more and more races going to play, just purely names, Miami, Saudi Arabia. I'm sorry, but I think if there was a good promoter coming, you could have a breakaway series quite easily, and you could kill what is the current Formula 1 just by giving the fans what they want. The sights, the sounds, the smells, the attack on the senses, and you could do it safely, and you could do it as alternative tracks, and you could keep it quite literally close to Europe. There's tracks out there that could hold Formula 1 racing. There's tracks out there that have got the paddocks and the safety to do it that aren't on Formula 1. That's just my rant. I've been going for nearly 15 minutes now, and I don't normally babble like this on YouTube. But seriously, this is the sport I loved. This is the sport that I watched heroes, Mansell, Schumacher, Senna. And what we see now? Tyres management, fuel management, battery management. That ain't racing. That's false. That's crap. And I'm sorry. I'm losing interest quickly. To be honest, I'm getting more interested in the World Endurance Championship, Le Mans, and other forms of sport. Sad really, isn't it? Anyway, there we are. 15 minutes near as damn it. Hope you're well. Look after yourselves. I'll speak to you soon. Bye.